Okay, I want to welcome those who have just joined us on today's Quick Learn, where we're going to be covering the bank feeds rules within the Sage software. Okay, so this is what we're going to be covering on today's session. So I'm going to start by introducing the bank feeds rules and the benefits. I will then demonstrate how to create a rule and where to manage your rules within the software. At the end of the demonstration, I will then summarise the session and talk about upcoming webinars. Please do keep your questions coming throughout the session, so either me or Michael can pick these up. Now, just before we do go into the introduction, I just want to get an idea of who is currently using bank feeds in the software. So you should see a poll on your screen, and it's just a simple question, yes or no, do you currently use bank feeds? Now, we do usually wait until we get around 70%, so I'll just wait for those answers to come in there. You can see them coming in nice and quickly there, so it shouldn't be too much longer. Okay, so I'll just close that poll down and I'll share the results with you as well. Okay, so as you can see, 55% of you actually don't use bank feeds and 45% of you do. So that's just so I get a bit of an idea of who's on our session today and who's currently and understands bank feeds and who may need a little bit more information. Okay, so I'll hide that poll. So for those of you who don't actually know what bank feeds are, you don't use it, I'll just go into a brief description here of kind of what bank feeds are and the benefits as well. So bank feeds has been available since version 22. So it allows you to automate your bank reconciliation by connecting to your live bank accounts. It enables you to download transactions from your bank and match them against transactions already entered into your Sage accounts. Where a transaction has not yet been entered into your Sage accounts, it can be created or set up to automatically post them into your software. And that's where bank feeds rules comes into it. So with bank feeds rules, it's easy to automate regular bank transaction postings. Just to make you aware as well, so bank feeds is a one-way link. So information is not going to be sent from your software to your bank. It only pulls that information down from your bank account. So let's have a look at bank feeds rules. So you can create rules based on your matched transactions. You can assign nominal codes, tax codes, customers and suppliers. You can also split transactions over nominal codes, and that's nominal codes only. But you'll see what I mean when I go into the demonstration. Transactions can be created automatically and can also choose to approve before posting. And you can have a maximum of up to 300 rules set up in the software. But what I'll do now is I'm going to go straight into demonstration. So I'm going to pop over to my software. Okay, so again, I'm going to be doing mine in version 29.2. So the actual bank feeds window or what I'm going to be working in may look a little bit different, but the actual bank feed rules window looks the same. So I'm going to pop into my bank feeds and I'm going to go into my 1210 account. Okay, so for a rule to be created, it has to be from a matched transaction. So you can see at the moment, I've got no confirmed matches. So it may be that you have an auto matched that you might just want to click confirm and that will move to the confirmed tab like so. So you can see now I've got a confirmed in that window. It might be that you want to manually match transactions. So if we go to the to be matched tab, let's just say, for example, 333, I'm just looking for specific transactions here. It might be that you want to manually match, so you might want to manually match these two here. So then they would move to the Confirm tab. Or you might want to create a transaction that has not yet been posted. So we're going to create a transaction from here. So I'm going to select this option here. So I'm going to click Create. And from here, I'm going to create a bank payment. I'm going to change the reference for my Sage transaction. So I know mine says Santander at the moment. So we're going to do this as for example, gas and electric. So pretend this has come from a gas and electric provider rather than just the bank. Just don't have a one that's come down with a reference relevant. So we're just going to pretend this is the gas and electric. So for example, I know when I pay my gas and electric for E.ON, my bank reference is E.ON. So I'm going to change mine just for Sage purposes. My Sage transaction is going to be G&E for gas and electric. I'm going to choose a nominal code 7200, which is for electricity at the moment. And again, tax codes, they can be changed. So it might be that you have a specific tax code that you need to use. I'm just going to leave mine as T1 for now. Once I'm happy with what I've entered, I'm going to click Save. And if I pop to the Confirmed tab, I now have that transaction that I've now created. So you now see that I've now got an option for create a rule. So if I pop in here, it's going to give me this box here. So I'm going to give my rule a name. So I'm going to put mine in there, gas and electric. Now you can have up to 200 characters in this box as well. So you don't have to abbreviate or anything like that. You're then going to select which conditions that you want to apply, the criteria that you want these transactions to fit under. Now you can select as many or as little as you want. For my gas and electric, the only one that's going to be really relevant is the reference, and it's going to pull it from the original downloaded transaction. So for example, if it was E.ON, it would have E.ON in there. So then every time I got a transaction from E.ON downloaded, it will then create that transaction for me. You do have the option as well to change it so you want it to equal exactly, for example, this is Santander 123. You want it to be exactly that reference. It could just contain that information, but also other information. You've also got the option to does not contain as well. I'm going to leave mine as equals. And I'm only going to select the reference for this specific example here. You're then going to go down to this section here. So you've got add a line. So this is where you add the accounts that this rule will assign to. And it's got the amount that's remaining. So I've got that 333.33. So if I click add, and we've got this section here. So we've got the split. So this is what I was talking about earlier, where you can actually split the transaction over multiple accounts, but this only applies to nominals and not your customers and your suppliers. So you can see at the moment, I've only got the option for percentage, and that's because I haven't selected a value. Now, the reason I didn't select a value is because my gas and electric is going to be could be a different amount every month. So I'll just show you what it looks like if I did select it. So I've selected an amount. If I click add again, you can now see I've got the option to split it as a value or as a percentage. So I'm just going to select percentage. But what I'll do is I'll quickly untick that, as that's not what is needed. So I'm going to have a percentage. Now I'm going to do my electric first. So the percentage, I'm going to say my electric is usually 70%. Again, it's going to split by nominal. As you can see, if I select customer, I get the option to choose a department and an extra reference. And then you would just select from that list there. Same for the supplier. You would select from your supplier list, and the options are the same. Now, if I click nominal, you can see my options are slightly different. So My nominal has automatically picked it up as default from that transaction I created. So that's why 7200 is automatically populated. But you can change this if you need to. Again, you've got the option to choose a department, extra reference, tax code. Again, you might not use T1 as your default tax code for your gas and electric. I'm just leaving it as it is for now. You've also got the option to choose a project and a cost code as well. You've also got the option to add a narrative. So this is just another reference that you want to post against this transaction when it's automatically posted going forward. You can also click on these little green question marks where they appear, and it gives you a bit of information. So you can see here, add some custom text, which will display against transactions posted when using this rule. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this as 70. Again, must have changed when I flick through the options. And then because I know that this 70% is going to be my electric, I'm going to change this part here, this narrative here, to say electric when it posts this section of the rule. Once I'm happy with what I've entered, I'm going to click add. So you can see there, it's added that line. So it's added to that nominal code, that tax code. The narrative is that that's for my electric, and I've split it to 70%. So you can see now it's actually the balance from 333.33 is now changed to, I've got £100 remaining. So if I add in my other line, and it's automatically populated to the 30%. You can split this more than just twice. So you can add, you could, I don't know, split this to a smaller amount and then do another split as well, as long as it totals to 100. So again, I'm going to change this because I don't want it to be, I want to change to a different nominal code that it's going to be populated to. So if I go down to my 700s, 7,000s even, and just look for my other nominal code. So you can see I've got one for electricity and one for gas. I'm going to leave my tax code as it is, and I'm going to put gas. And all you do is you click add. So you can see now I've got no balance remaining. I've used the full 100%, and I've managed to split that gas and electric over two different nominal codes. In the bottom left, you've got this option here. So review transactions before posting. So if I just click on the little question mark, you can select this if you want to approve transactions even, using this rule before they are posted. You can switch this off if you want transactions using this rule to be automatically posted. So if this is ticked and the transactions have been downloaded when you log into Sage automatically, when they've been downloaded into your software, you will get a prompt at that point when you log in to review the approvals at that time. And if you choose not to do it at that time, you can click no, I don't want to approve them at this moment. You can come into the into bank feeds, and I'll show you now. So if I click, I'm going to leave that as ticked, and I click save rule. It's told me it's created that bank feed rule for me. And if you want to check your approvals, you can see this option here. You can pop into approvals at a later date and then do it when you're ready. So that's in the top right hand corner, and this is on the version 29.2. If you are on an older version, we do have a bank feeds session on the 29.1 and below as well, if you wanted to watch the full session. Okay, so that is how you do your approvals. Now, I want to show you again, but we'll use a different demonstration. So we'll just pop back into my bank feeds. And this time I'm going to create another transaction, but I'm going to do it for my customers. So I'm going to select this option here, so this one here, and I want to create the transaction for this one. So what you can actually do is if you create a transaction from a downloaded transaction, it doesn't currently exist in your software, you can actually assign it to or allocate it to an invoice at the same time. So if I choose customer receipt, and I'm going to choose create transaction. I'm then going to select A1 Design Services. And you can see I've actually got an invoice outstanding for that £86. So I can just click receipt, pay in full, and save. So that means it's not only created that transaction for me, it's actually matched it as well. Now, if we were then to create a rule from this one, so if I click create rule, I'm just going to put a A1 design DD for direct debit. And this time I'm going to go by the sort code and account number. So this account number has to be your 8 characters, and you've got your sort code in there. So because the value might change for a customer that they pay you each time, they might alter their direct debit that they set up, then at least then any transactions that do come in from this account number and sort code, it will post that transaction for you. So then if we go to add, it's automatically picked up that customer for me. And like I say, if you wanted to, you can add a department, and you can also choose an extra reference. I might just put DD in there for direct debit. I might want to change the narrative because, like I say, not every time it's not going to be necessarily for those invoices, but you can then just put invoice payment. And then you can just click add. So that means anytime that I get a payment from that account reference, account number and sort code, it's going to automatically post it for me. Again, choose to review, whether you want to review that before posting it, or you want it to post automatically. So if I save that rule, it's now telling me I have created that bank rule as well. To manage my rules, you just pop into manage rules along the top right. And you can come in here, you can view them if you just want to view what's in here. You can edit as well. So that means if you wanted to then start changing the conditions, actually, I think it only gives you the certain ones that you can check. So you can't choose the amount once you've created it. You would have to create a new rule for that one. But all the others are selectable as afterwards as well. So you can come in here and make changes to rules if you need to. And again, just a reminder, you can only have up to 300 rules set up. You can also as well, if you no longer need the rule, you can then just delete it there. And also as well, you've got the option to review, but you can see whether it's review by posting or not. Another thing as well is you can actually choose in the latest version who can actually do those approvals as well. So you can manage their access. I can see a question's just come through there from Mary there. Can you change the rule name? Let's have a look. So I'll just choose this one. Click edit. So no, you can't change the rule name. It's usually only the conditions other than obviously the amount. So that is grayed out when you once it's created. So that would be a case of deleting that old rule and creating a new one. I'll just see if you can change. So you can change the reference that goes on the transaction. So you can come in here and change that if you wanted to, but just not the actual rule at the top. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll quickly show you where you can also choose who can do those approvals if you do choose to go down that route. So pop into settings, user management, and into users. And then I've got a user here, just myself. And if I go into edit, and then I pop to level of access down the left-hand side here. And then I'm going to pop into bank accounts. So I click on the little drop down. And if I scroll down, we've got a section for bank feeds. So if I drop down again, I can choose who can download and who can approve those transactions as well. So you do have quite a bit of control in terms of who can download and approve those transactions, for those bank feeds rules. Okay, so is there any questions before I move on to upcoming webinars? What I'll do is, just while waiting for those questions to come through, is I will pop over to the webinars and I'll just show you. So on my own page, I'm just going to go to more info on my free webinars tile here. I'm just going to drag this across. I just want to show you what we've got coming up. Okay, so I'll scroll down. Okay, so this is what we've got coming up. So okay, so today, so obviously we've had these sessions on today, which you can go back and watch this morning's recording if you would like to. So that'll be on the recordings page shortly. You've also got tomorrow, we've got reconciling your bank account with Michael. We've also got emailing your customer statements part 1, reconciling your VAT return, customer chase debt view, batch supplier payments. We've also got emailing your customer statements part 2 as well. Again, if you want to watch recordings, you have got the option at the bottom of the page. We've also got the option at the top as well, and we're doing a little bit of a revamp, making it a little bit easier for you to be able to view your the sessions that we did for International Accounting Day. But they're also as well more categorized by each topic as well, so it might be a little bit easier for you to navigate and find those recordings as well. Okay. If you have got any outstanding questions, this is how you answer. Sorry, if you open up the questions panel, if you're not sure how you've done it so far, if you just see the speech bubble on the right hand side with the question mark in the middle, that will open up the panel. But that does bring us to the end of today's session. Please feel free to stay around for the next couple of minutes or so. If you are waiting for an answer to a question or you have any further questions to ask, now is the time. If you've got what you need today and you want to leave the session, you will receive an email in around an hour or so with links to both our webinar schedule and today's recorded session. Upon exiting the session, you will see a survey at the end. If you could please let us know any feedback regarding today's session. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pop myself on mute so I can assist in any questions that do come through. Okay, so majority of the questions seem to have been answered there. So what I'll do is I'll wrap this session up. I want to say thank you to Michael, who's been on hand today to answer your questions, and thank you to you all for your participation. Just a reminder, we have got plenty of sessions over the next couple of weeks, so don't be shy and get registered. So I want to say another thank you and take care.